dad coming as well?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so we should be, hopefully, if Ian comes and Ephraim, we're in good shape. I just want to continue a little bit what we spoke about yesterday. We were learning the first Mishnah, Me'ei Matai, right? When do we begin reciting the Shema? And if you remember, basically the question I asked was, what does it have to do with coming at night? Like coming back into the house with the eating. And I also mentioned that the Gemara, the Mishnah chooses to say that we have when the Kohanim enter to eat their foods, but the Gemara gives us other possibilities. It could be when the poor person comes to eat their food, or when the Bnei Adam, the common person, comes to eat their food. So there's this theme of coming for dinner, and that's what we spoke about yesterday. But why did the Mishnah choose to go with the Kohanim as opposed to the common person, considering, in fact, most of us are not Kohanim, and so therefore, what's the relevance for us? So I think the answer has to do with the fact that the rabbis assume that each of us, with apologies to our Kohen, have an element of being a Kohen within them. We're all called to be a Mamlechet Kohanim, right? Each of us are supposed to elevate ourselves to that level, and you'll see that there are certain practices that we take from the Beit HaMikdash to remind us that. We wash our hands in the morning, so that's to be like the Kohanim who used to wash their hands and their feet. Even tzitzit that we wear, our tzitzit, the color tchelet, it's like the color of the garments of the Kohen Gadol. And in addition to that, we're not allowed to wear shatnez, but our tzitzit dafka can have shatnez. Talit tzitzit can have shatnez, which was also permitted for the clothing of the Kohen Gadol. Anyway, the concept that I think is supposed to be impressed upon us is that we are to think of ourselves as standing as Kohanim in the Beit HaMikdash. You'll see other examples. Think about the other examples of the times that are used with regards to this first Mishnah, right? Me'ei Matai. What are some of the other cases until the end of the first watch? It's also connected to the Beit HaMikdash. Or in the mornings, right? The machloket between Rabban Gamliel and the rabbis of whether or not it's to Chatzot or whether or not it's to Alot HaShachar, that you can say Shema with the ending time. They're both agree that it has to do with the time that you're allowed to allow the incense, the Keturah, to be burning. So all of the times, right, rather than simply Tzeit Kochavim or Lot HaShachar, all the times that are actually mentioned. This is the fifth chapter, the first Mishnah. Or, I'm sorry, actually better to do the fourth chapter, the last Mishnah. It describes all of the instances that how the Kohanim would do the Karban Tamid, preparing it, cutting it, and preparing it, all the different things. It's a very long Mishnah. And then at the very end, before they would do the actual Karban, it says, V'yardu ba'u lahem lishkat hagazit. They would sort of separate themselves and go to the lishkat hagazit, the krot et shema, in order to say Shema at that point in time. Before they would actually do the Karban, the preparation, then they would say Shema, and then they would bring the Karban. That there's a very intimate link between Shema and Karbanot, even in the time of the Beit HaMikdash, and then we sort of duplicate that concept of before we bring our Karban, as now Kohanim, we also recite Shema to prepare us in that regard.